Right there. Heading to the desert, are we? I would think twice if I were you.
Nah, I'd think once.
Huh? Who are you?
That doesn't matter. All you need to know is that someone wishes to inform you that it's not too late to turn back.
Oh, it's not too late for you if we
You
turn
must
back.
be Sino. I've
We
heard a
don't
lot
really
about
care about
you.
saving
You've got
your
quite
life,
a
though.
reputation. But this time you're in over your head. Unless you turn around right now, I'm afraid that even you won't return unscathed.
You want forgiveness? Get religion.
And as for you two, why bother sticking your noses in trouble that doesn't even concern you? Hmm?
That's right! We won't just sit back and do nothing!
Ha! Have you really thought it through? You're not just doing this for recognition, are you, Sino? My employer said that he's willing to compromise as long as you just walk away. He could, for example, reduce the amount of canned knowledge on the market. I'm sure that would help your investigation appear to be successful enough. On top of that, he's willing to give you a cut of the profit. So you see, you get both Mora and a boost to your reputation. I can't think of a reason why you would pass that up.
Is that
He's
so?
not corrupt.
Well, I can't think of a reason why I'd accept. I've heard enough. Get out of my way.
Sorry, no can do. We're getting paid to ensure you disappear. Since you won't turn back willingly, then we're gonna have to make you go back.
You can try.
Happy to oblige.
Nowhere to run!
Steady us and protect us!
No, my sword!
The fuse is lit! Here come the fireworks!
Lucky today!
Time for a light show!
Leave it all to me.
Let the show begin.
Rain cutter. No, my sword.
Fire hazard!
You won this one. This doesn't change anything.
Still
You're
got
in
the
over your
moves.
head, Sino. There will be others coming for you. You'll regret it.
I forgot the part where that's my problem.
Let's get out of here.
Stings, doesn't it?
No need. Even if we apprehend them, there'll be little information to gain. Besides, it might also be a trap.
Like that would matter. The agenda shed is on it, isn't it? You freaking femboys of legend.
I apologize for bringing you into this dangerous mess. Just being associated with me will inevitably cause you to become targets as well. You should be careful from now on. Sleep with one eye open.
Wait, hold on! There's no way anyone could sleep without closing their eyes? Right?
You'd be surprised. Anyway, just be careful. Mercenaries are never quick to forget. In their line of work, even a single failure is bad for reputation. They may even stay hidden in some dark corner for a very long time, waiting for the right moment to ambush you. They'll do anything to keep their prestige intact. Yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was carrying out a mission with one of my superiors. I didn't have much experience at the time, and I let my guard down after we had closed the case. We ended up being attacked by the remainder of the mercenaries. My superior was injured while protecting me, and we struggled to gain control of the situation. I've become more vigilant ever since, staying alert even while I sleep.
coming. Was he okay?
He survived with a fractured wrist. It took 2 months for him to recover. But luckily, there weren't any further complications. Last year, he transferred to an administrative role for personal reasons, and no longer participates in live missions. His name is Taj Radkani, a very well-respected Matra. You'll have the chance to meet him someday. Anyway.
Welcome, welcome. Alright, I think, yes, we should be pretty much good, except I need to pull up this. There we go. Better. I'm still tired for some reason. Fix. Okay, so this should be the next one that we have to do here. Not sure if we can make it from this direction actually, so I'm gonna go this way. Barely even scratches me when he hits. They hit like weak boy. Let me see here. As I remember, some of these things actually making a difference with frame pacing. Full screen seems to help. Let me see here. Well, does it? That's about the same. Let me see. That actually makes things way worse. What about that plus full screen though? No, that's worse. You imbecile, give me the card. 10,000 gil, then the imbecile get to walk past me. The garden, the amazing find. Got it? Bribe the card. Yes, I guess. About time you started playing by the rules. Lolly, what in the blazing hells do you think you're doing, man-ho? Is that any way to, for a guard to behave, is it? No, sir, Chief, sir. No rations for you tonight. Chief, no, mercy, mercy. It's not fair, I tell you. The dwarf toils day in and day out for pittance, only to try and make a little something extra on the side. And what does he get? What does it get him? Alright, well, anyway, bugger off. None may pass without the chief's permission, which I know you haven't got. Wait, don't tell me. I assume you came all this way to put in for a position. Sorry, but it's already been filled. Let's see. Don't go playing silly buggers with me. The queer ruins we found deep in the cavern, through the tunnel over there. The one filled with all kinds of machina. To one point, we've started calling it a bloody machina graveyard. Yes, we were looking to hire on another guard, but the position's since been filled by that fellow we tried to swindle you. That tried to swindle you a moment ago. Since you're here and still unemployed, mind delivering a message for me? It's 2 younglings in Korma, Anog and Knog. Sister and brother, twins. We found wearing white and black. Twin thing, I suppose. The message is as follows. Lila bleeding ho. This is no place for children to be messing about. Stay far, far away or else. Got it? Well, we'll see. Now we are messenger errand boy, I suppose. Well, errand queen. You got business with us? The chief put you up to this, and you agreed? Haven't you got anything better to do with your time? Wait, those garments, that quiet confidence, those powerful neck muscles, sculpted by a lifetime of nodding. This is, that sinner's everyone's talking about, sister. She's the guileless fool we've been waiting for, the perfect patsy. Good thinking, brother. Right, let's get to it then. You wouldn't happen to be that kindly stranger everyone likes and adores. You are, aren't you? Perhaps you'd be willing to do us a little teensy favor. Of course you would. My brother and I are conducting some highly secret research at the moment, but we've hit a dead end. To continue, we need to get our hands on an automaton core. So I'm your patsy. Oh, don't be silly. Everyone knows you're a soul of generosity. A sinner who cannot help but render aid to her fellow sinner in their hour of need, not for fame or fortune or any other reward, but simply for the joy of it. Am I wrong? Now you're on the trolley. The core we require is being stored in another sundry materials on the cliffs above us. Once you have it, bring it to my sister. So how am I supposed to get up there? I guess I go this way. Ah, there's a sinner now. And this is the core I spy in her hands. Heh, brilliant. All we've got to do is sell it for a small fortune, and then we're one step closer to seeing our plans for world domination to fruition. Oi, something. Oh, right, that was a close one, brother. Now then, for our next request. What in the hells are you two up to? Oh. If you're even thinking of taking advantage of this good sinner, I'll tell you, I'll tan both of your hides and toss you from the top of White Oil Falls. Now get going. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. They don't know any better on account of them being all on their own, no parents. They've lost more than you, more than most you could say. More than anyone ever should. Anyway, I've been meaning to ask. Everyone says you're the soul of generosity, a sinner who cannot help but render aid to her fellow sinner in their hour of need. Not for fame or fortune or any other reward, but simply for the joy of it. Am I wrong? I'd say you just repeated word for word with those two. Never mind. We're short a lantern at the dig site. Should be another in the cave just outside the village. Mind going to fetch it for me? Cause, of course you don't. Once you've got it, bring it back to me at the dig. Oh, and don't worry, I'll see you compensated for the trouble. Let me see here. So... okay, yeah, it is at the camera. We can just jump right over their little gate. It's like, whee! See, there you are. I presume you're holding the that lantern you're holding is truly okay. Much obliged. Here, a little something for your trouble. Never let it be said that a dwarf character doesn't pay his debts. Anyway, if we've nothing else to discuss, just let us pass already. We want to see the ruins. Please, please, please. No, it's dangerous and off limits. And even if I were the sort of man who could be bribed, which I'm not, I'd be shocked if the two of you had anything valuable enough for me to risk my neck looking the other way. Why are you and everyone so bloody obsessed with trying to get a look at the cavern with mysterious mechana anyway? It's just a bloody scrap heap, isn't it? No, it's so much more. Based on our research, we have reason to believe that those ruins contain... Hush, sister, how many times must you nearly give it away? It's supposed to be our secret. Oh yes, right. It's just so hard to contain my enthusiasm. Nothing. These ruins contain nothing of value whatsoever. We shall leave you to your affairs, honorable guard, and bid thee farewell. Honestly, I'm beginning to hope that there really is nothing of value in there, for all the trouble it's causing. But as I was about to say, we've nothing else to discuss. Then you'd best be on your way. It's dangerous to wander about an active dig site, and I don't want anyone getting hurt. We should just fight our way in. These little dwarves don't stand a chance. Highland Hyssop, huh? Probably couldn't even slap hard enough for me to feel it anyway. Oh, I should have just used the teleport. Let's see, is it better in windowed? It's roughly the same. Yeah. Booked around Korma, did you learn anything about that big find? The Sheen Graveyard, eh? Interesting. This could be the beginning of a great adventure. Or an utterly nonsensical one, though that does have its appeal on occasion, I'll allow. I believe I probably just talked to this guy again. We're order to proceed with this quest. Where did this? Okay, there we go. So here, pretty sure, yeah. So Scandal in Korma. I think I did that one, right? Oh, okay. It is the next one. If it would swap windows, that would be very nice. Let's see. And then on the threshold. Then tails you lose. Which one was it to unlock that thing? I know it's... Oh, wait. So that would be the next quest. I think this, yeah, this unlocks that. So yeah, it's just several quests deep. Oh, that unlocks, wait. So Scandal and Korma. And on the threshold unlocks the copied factory. Okay. And that one. That one. That one. That one. Okay, then that unlocks that bunker thing. I thought that was the one that actually drops that material. I thought. Is it still further? Oh, is it this one? I think it is. I know it's one of them. One of them drops the material thing that I'm looking for. Let's see. Because it does take that one. I didn't bookmark it. So. See, because we're mainly looking for 8s. Yeah, the tower at the breach thing. Okay, so it doesn't actually even list it in there, but yeah. Brave New World. Okay. So that should be the one. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a few quests in, it looks like. I mean, we can just try to speedrun them, I suppose. Too bad we can't do something like we can do in Genshin Impact and just put down a custom waypoint to teleport to. That would make things significantly easier. Oh, I'm so terrified. Level 78 dragon is gonna slap me with like 500 damage. No. Alright, go ahead. Slap me. Do your worst. Oh, I dodged it. Well, let's see. So much damage. I don't know how I'll survive. This is... yeah. Please stop. I can't take it anymore. Oh, not your red circle. Oh, ow. Oh, that hurts so much. Oh. Don't mind me. I'm just going to go this way. Like, what's the point of them having them attack you? Like, why? Why do they even aggro you when there's this much level and equipment difference? Like, they're not going to do anything. Even if I just stand there, they're not going to do anything. Like, at a certain point, they should not aggro you. Because they don't stand a shot in hell. What are they gonna do? I'm gonna slap you with 500 damage. My red circle will do 2,000 damage. So much. Like, I have 56,000 health here. Like, my regen alone pretty much just eliminates your damage. I don't know why I always reach for my coffee cup with my left hand. It's like, even though I'm right-handed. Like, let me see. If I put my coffee cup on my right side, like, it still doesn't even actually feel as natural as grabbing it with my left hand. Like, why is that? Oh, it's weird. Like, even though I'm right-handed, it feels more natural to grab it with my left hand. I don't know. I don't think it's so much of even a matter of whether or not you're ambidextrous. I think it's more of a question of, like, how much. I think it's just varying degrees of ambidextrous. I mean, I probably do like 80% of stuff with my right hand, but like the other 20% I do with my left hand. Some things it just feels more natural to do with my left hand. It's weird. I really just need to skip a whole bunch of dialogue. That's gonna be a while till we get there. Bum 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 ba dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. Okay. Oh my goodness, this is such a crime. You need to let us in. I'm going to. Beat him up. It's you. You can beat him up for us. Please don't. The chief will be quite concerned indeed. Doubt my words all. Sorry, I'm guessing I need to slash doubt. Doubt. Yeah. That proves nothing. I know what I'm being accused of, but I'm absolutely sure he's guilty of it. After him. I mean, he's left the place unguarded. Why not just slip in? Can you believe it? We've got you cornered. I don't think he's alone, sister. Monsters! Hasty retreat will be in order, just so. What now, Balding? As if they're gonna do freaking crap. Like, no, they're not. Oh my goodness, I can't be under attack here. Whatever am I gonna do? I'll beat them to a bloody pulp. Night night. Didn't even scratch me. Wah wah wah. You notice something shiny metallic has fallen to the ground. Something that there is looking to obtain. Okay. I think my dragon could even, like, yeah, my dragon barely fits on this bridge. Anything but dinner. Let's see, on the threshold, I'm pretty sure that's got to be the one. Right. Yeah, on the threshold. Actually, let me see. So, if I go to my history, I should... It should be the tower thing, right? Yeah. So yeah, the tower thing is the one that I need to unlock. So it's still a ways out there. Oh well. Yes, we got the key. Do you know the way? Oh my goodness. No, I couldn't possibly. I would never. Does sound very appealing. On the way. Time to blast it open with dynamite. Stand back. Boom. The moment of truth, then. Golden apple. No. Bombs. Bombs can actually kill you from quite a ways away from the blast. Because of the air pressure. The air pressure difference can actually rupture your eardrums, and that can actually go right... basically explode right into your brain. Killing you. Just because of the pressure. Intruder sighted, eliminating the extreme prejudice. It's time to use our secret weapons. Whee! Not. What have you done? Save their fellow dwarf? Or no, it's not a dwarf. Yeah. Saved a person. Mysterious. Suspiciouser and suspiciouser. What is Near Automa doing here? Yeah, why do we randomly have a Near Automa person in Final Fantasy XIV? Don't you dare! How bloody stupid are they? Very evidently. How strange. Another door. Boing, boing, boom. What? More bombs? I'm guessing so. Yeah. Yeah. How do you like that? I'm sure you were told to keep us from getting into trouble or some such nonsense, yes? I'm watching you. But who took care of those machines? Us. Who opened the door? Us. Who's going to find out what's in there? Us. Yep, they are Klee. Klee has family. Alright. The copied factory. Yeah. After that, yeah, I think it is literally just that quest thing. Should I take a look at how it goes, or I might want to. It is a pretty large raid thing. Ooh, my caps lock is on. Okay. The copied factory. Gosh, these guides are longer. I mean, it's saying 30 minutes to get in there alone, so might as well.
Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the copied factory.
Okay.
Systematic siege will bring down a number of ads around the outer edges of the platform that will slowly bombard the platform with lethal orbs as they move around the edge. Players will have to constantly be on the lookout for these orbs and move out of their paths to avoid damage. Clanging Blow will deal high damage to the primary target. Cooldown and shield through this as necessary. Energy Bombardment will target the ground with AoE circle blasts that all players should avoid. Forceful Impact will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers be ready to top everyone off. Periodically, the boss will turn towards a random player and cast Energy Assault, bombarding the platform in that direction with a multitude of orbs. Players will need to quickly move behind the boss during this time to avoid unnecessary damage. Systematic Targeting will spawn more ads around the platform that will laser target random players before blasting in their direction. To minimize damage and overlap of the raid, these players can force the blast away from the raid or towards the outside of the platform. Side Striking Spin will target each side of the boss for high damage and debuffs. When you see this cast, make sure you're either in front, behind, or out of range of the attack.
Wait, how do you know when it's side strikes? How do you know when it's being casted, though?
This cast, make sure you're either in front, behind, or out of range of the attack completely. Systematic Airstrike will summon a number of flying ads above the platform. These ads will follow the paths indicated by the arrows on the platform, dropping lethal orbs as they do. All players will need to make sure that they're out of the path of these dropped orbs or they will probably die. Systematic Suppression will summon multiple sets of ads on the edge that will blast across one half of the platform
Yeah, this is like Near Automata music too. What?
In succession. Players will have to move out of the first blast before repositioning to avoid the subsequent blast pattern. The location of these ads is random, so be sure to keep an eye out for the order of the spawns. From here on out, these mechanics will repeat with increased overlap and difficulty. Additionally, players will now need to be on the lookout for Shockwave, which will knock them away from the boss. This can overlap with the airstrikes, so I highly recommend using knockback immunities to spare yourself that extra headache. Lastly, the boss will throw out growing rings of orbs that must be avoided as necessary. Getting hit by any of these attacks throughout the encounter will place a vulnerability stack on you, so make sure to avoid everything as much as possible. This next section has us battling a number of trash mobs. The hardest part is constantly watching out for all the moving orbs while also dodging the usual AoE attacks. The second boss is Hobbs. Each alliance will be sent to a specific platform that has its own special mechanic to look out for throughout the encounter. Alliance A will have a number of ads beneath the platform that will throw out AoE patterns in a line to dodge. Alliance B's platform has a conveyor belt system that will push players left and right. Alliance C's platform will have vents that throw out alternating AoE blasts. These are all fairly easy to handle, but they will overlap with other mechanics throughout the encounter, so be ready. Hobbs starts off by casting Laser Resistance Test, dealing high raid-wide damage in multiple hits. Healers beware. Anytime this laser targets the back of a platform, it signifies the beginning of a mini-phase. The mechanics of each mini-phase depends on the position of the platform around the room. If the big stationary claw is over the platform, players will need to prepare for a rotating cone and circle AoE. You can tell the direction this attack is rotating by the directional arrows in the center. Start in a safe zone and follow it around as the attack turns. Make sure you avoid the blue puddle in the middle as well. If you're on the platform with a smaller mobile claw, a proximity-based damage marker will appear in the center of the platform, and players will need to move to the edges to avoid excess damage. This attack will eventually drop down a large box that will break open, crushing any players in its way. Inside the box will be 4 ads that will tether to random players. These ads will explode if they get within range of their targets. To handle this, each player can move away from the group to only take 1 explosion. You can also have a tank grab all 4 tethers and cool down
Wait.
through the explosions at once.
You
If
can't-
flamethrowers
oh.
light up the back of the platform, players will need to quickly position themselves either in the middle or one of the sides of the platform to avoid the incoming blast, based on the position of the lit flamethrowers. All 3 of these mini-phase mechanics occur at the same time on each platform, but each alliance will be dealing with a different mini-phase each round. Once the mini-phase is complete, the entire room will rotate and each platform will land in a different section. As soon as that big red laser targets your platform, be ready to handle the incoming mechanics. Ring laser will form an AoE attack that begins on the outer edge of the platform and moves into the middle. Players will need to dodge each ring as it makes its way to the center, or they'll take high damage and be afflicted with stacking magic vulnerability debuffs. Laser sight will mark up a player with this lineup marker. The alliance will need to stand together to share the incoming damage. Once each alliance has gone through all 3 platform mini phases, the specific mechanics to each platform will begin to overlap with the previous mechanics. This can get pretty hectic, especially if it's your first time, but with practice, all of these attacks are fairly easy to dodge. Periodically, players will be marked for large AoE circles that need to be spread apart to avoid overlapping damage. All of these mechanics will repeat with increased overlap and difficulty until the boss is down. In the next section, we come across the Goliath tank. This is actually the first of 2 mini-boss trash adds that you'll need to defeat before moving on to the 3rd boss. Energy Ring will deploy a number of lethal orbs around the boss in a growing AoE ring. This repeats until the boss is down, so put on your dodging shoes. A number of adds will spawn and tether to random players. These adds will run towards their targets and explode, so be sure to move these away from the raid to avoid overlapping their explosions. Laser Turret will have the tank turning towards a random player and blasting in that direction. Move out of the AoE telegraph. These mechanics will repeat until the tank is destroyed. Next, the raid will have to deal with a hacked flight unit. Area bombing maneuver will mark up players with orange markers and target them with small AoE circle blasts that will follow them for some time. Make sure you move out of these as necessary. 360-degree bombing maneuver will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers, be ready to top everyone off. Light fast blade will target one side of the boss for a massive blast. Move to the opposite side to dodge. At this point,
someone's
these mechanics
taking
will
a
happen
dirt
more
nap.
frequently and with more overlap until the flight unit is defeated. Finally, we reach the 3rd boss. Mark Smash will target one half of the platform, and players will need to look at the boss's movements to see which side will be affected. Move to the opposite half of the platform to avoid the attack. Precision guided missile
There's
will
a
target
lot
the 3
of,
tanks of each alliance for heavy hitting
telegraph
AoE blasts.
time there.
The tanks need to make sure they're far away from each other and the rest of the raid to avoid overlap. Incendiary bombing will mark up players and blast the ground beneath them with high damage that leaves behind a fire puddle. Move these markers away from the group to minimize damage. Guided missile will mark up the players with these special AoE markers and target them for AoE blasts that will follow them for some time. If you're affected, be sure to move away from the raid and continue moving until the AoE blasts stop chasing you. Diffuse laser will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. The next Mark Smash has the boss winding up with both hands. If he raises both arms high up into the air, the south side of the platform will be targeted, followed by both east and west sides. Players will need to dodge this attack by moving to the center section of the north side of the platform. If he raises both arms but keeps them close to his body, the north side of the platform will be targeted first, followed by the center being blasted. To dodge this attack, players will move to the south side of the platform and position on the outer edge to avoid the secondary middle blast. Energy Barrage will call down a number of circles that must be soaked on the north side of the platform. At the same time, the boss will blast the area directly in front of him. To handle this, all players will move out of the center, but be ready to move right back into the
except
soak
for the
circles
tank.
as soon as the attack goes off. If you
Tank
miss
just
soaking the
stands
damage
there.
from any of the circle attacks, they will explode and you will probably die, so make sure there's a player standing in each one. Surface Missile will randomly target the platform for large AoE.
Let me see.
Make sure there's a player standing in each one. Of the platform. At the same time, the boss will blast the area directly in front of him. To handle
So these
this, all
red
players will move out of the
ring-looking
center,
things.
but be ready to move right back into the soak circles as soon as the attack goes off. If you miss soaking the damage from any of the circle attacks, they will explode and you will probably die, so make sure there's a player standing in each one. Surface Missile will randomly target the platform for large AoE blasts. Move out of these areas as necessary. Eventually, the boss will begin to charge and a number of adds will drop onto the platform. Each alliance will handle one of the Goliath Goliath adds, tanking them away from each other to avoid buffing them. The smaller adds will eventually explode, so healers be ready for that extra damage. The Goliath adds will throw out large AoE cones that should be avoided. All of the adds must be destroyed before the boss hits 100 on his gauge. Stack shield and heal through the incoming ultimate blast. Eventually, a proximity-based damage marker will appear on the center of the platform. The raid is going to need to move to the south edge, as the platform will soon be destroyed and everyone will be flung off. By standing on the south side, you'll be flung onto the second platform instead of the abyss. From here on out, players will need to keep an eye on the extra arms on either side that will target 1/3 of the platform with each hit. Move out of their way to avoid high damage and debuffs. All the previous mechanics will continue to repeat as well. Eventually, the boss will begin his crushing protocol and cover the southern half of the platform with fire. The raid will need to destroy each arm before they get crushed. These mechanics will repeat until the boss is down. This takes us right into the final boss, the 9S operated walking fortress. This is arguably the hardest encounter in the game because it's really hard to see what you're doing through your tiers. Neutralization will deal high damage to the primary target. Cooldown and heal through this as necessary. Laser saturation will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. Laser turret will have the boss turn towards a random player and blast in that direction. Move out of the way to avoid unnecessary damage. Next up, players will need to dodge AoE markers on the ground and spread the markers on targeted players to avoid overlap. Dual flank cannons will blast the platform on either side of the boss. Make sure you're standing directly behind or in front to avoid this. Front hind cannons will blast the platform in front and behind the boss. Stand on the boss's sides to avoid. Engage mark support will spawn giant arms in random quadrants of the platform. The raid will need to move to the unaffected quadrant to avoid high damage and debuffs. When 9S casts undock, he'll move to the center of the room and fly away in his flight unit. The raid will then need to be on the lookout for his bombing pattern and move out of the way of the incoming missiles. You'll need to survive multiple bombardments before 9S returns. Anti-personnel missile will target random segments of the platform in succession. Players will need to move out of the squares targeted first and then move into the safe zones to avoid subsequent blasts. Engage Goliath tank support will call down 2 massive tanks on opposite sides of the platform that will tether to the boss and render him invulnerable. The raid will need to destroy these tanks before continuing their assault on the boss. The raid tanks will need to make sure they have threat on each machine tank as they'll blast their primary target with massive damage. Make sure the tanks are faced
people
away
still
from
targeting
raid
the
and cool down
boss?
and heal through as necessary. The raid will need to
Hopefully
watch
not.
out for AoE circle attacks and raid-wide blasts as they destroy
I think
each
they
tank.
got the
Once
idea.
the tanks are destroyed, 9S will hack a tank, forcing it to explode. The raid will need to run behind the other tank to avoid the blast or they will die. This blast will cause the second tank to explode, so be ready to run out of range as quickly as possible. Eventually, 9S will begin hacking and 3 adds will spawn. Each alliance will need to focus one down as fast as possible while keeping them apart. These adds have similar mechanics to the first boss, so take what you learned there and apply it here. Be sure to stack with your alliance to share the damage and watch out for the side attacks. All 3 adds must be destroyed before the boss finishes hacking or you will die. Stand in the shield provided and heal through the incoming damage. From this point on, all the main mechanics will repeat with increased overlap and difficulty until the boss is destroyed. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. As always, thanks for watching. See you in 5.2. Till next.
Okay, so yeah, we are still waiting. I mean, if that's accurate, I probably want to switch servers here. Okay, so let's go to a different server. see. Yeah. This should hopefully go much faster. The tower thing. We should probably watch the video for this one as well. What is up with this audio? What kind of bitrate did they compress it to?
Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the tower at Paradigm's Breach. This is the newest 24-man Alliance raid made available by patch 5.5 in Final Fantasy XIV, Death Unto Dawn. My name is Mystek and I'll be your raid guide. The first boss is the Knave of Hearts. Roar will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. Colossal Impact will appear as one of 2 attacks. If the boss's mouth is glowing red, all players need to move out from the line directly in front of the boss to avoid the attack. If the boss moves back from the edge and raises his glowing arms, players will need to avoid the sides and move directly in front of the boss. Magic Artillery Beta will target all 3 tanks with a heavy-hitting tank buster. Cooldown and heal through this as necessary.
Heavy hitting?
During this time, the boss will also cast...
It only seemed to be heavy hitting to that one person who was probably just not equipped.
Replicate, and a clone will spawn on another edge of the platform. Stacking the deck will then mark up each version of the boss, indicating which order they will attack in consecutively. All players will then need to pay attention to each boss and move accordingly based on the type of colossal impact they each telegraph. Spheroids
Or you
will
can
spawn
just
orbs that
run
will
into
slowly
a
move
corner
across
that's not
the
going to be
platform.
affected.
Players will need to give these a wide berth or they will be dealt high damage and debuffs. At the same time, the boss will cast Magic Artillery Alpha, and players will be targeted by these orange circle markers. Spread apart to avoid overlapping damage while dodging the moving spheres. Light Leap will form 2 proximity-based damage markers on the platform. Move away from these to reduce damage. Immediately after, a number of square sections will form on the platform. The boss will again replicate and enumerate itself and begin to cast damage. This is a massive knockback that will kill any player that doesn't put their back against the elevated square areas around the platform. The clone will follow with another lunge attack, and players will need to reposition themselves against the raised squares to avoid getting knocked off again. From here, the boss can replicate 2 clones at once, and players may need to handle 3 attacks in turn. Pay attention to the attacks each boss telegraphs and move appropriately to avoid getting hit. The next round of spheroids will shoot across the platform in 2 rounds. Players will again need to spread their AoE markers while dodging into the appropriate rows between the attacking spheroids. During the next lunge phases, the original boss may also cast Colossal Impact while the clone is casting its lunge, limiting the available safe spots against the raised square sections. These mechanics will repeat with some overlap until the boss is down. The second boss encounter has us fighting Hansel and Gretel. One of them will cast Upgraded Shield while the other casts Upgraded Lance. During this time, the 2 bosses need to be moved away from one another to avoid buffing each other. The shield boss will form directional shields on its flanks and rear that will knock back and damage any player that hits them. Players can instead focus on the Lance boss. One boss will then cast Crippling Blow, a tank buster on its primary target, while the other casts Wail, a raid-wide AoE blast. Shield and heal as necessary. These attacks will occur twice, with each boss casting 1 of each attack. Next up, both bosses will cast Tandem Assault Bloody Sweep, move to the outer edge of the platform, and raise up their weapons on the left or right side, indicating that their attack will target everything on that side. Depending on the side of their attack, a specific safe zone will form that all players will need to stand in. The bosses will then cast Upgraded Lance or Shield again and swap weapons. Next, Seed of Magic Alpha will target players with AoE circles to avoid overlapping, while Riot of Magic will target 1 player for stack up.
I mean, honestly, I think the strategy here, if you're the tank, is to pull this one as close to the edge as possible and then turn it to face the rest of the group so that the rest of the group can hit it. If nothing else. I mean, I guess if they're all focused on it, then you probably don't want its damage going in the way of everyone else. So, I don't know, maybe that's correct.
Away if you have a circle on you, and stack up if you don't. The next tandem assault is Passing Lance, and a line of orbs will form through the center of the platform with a gap. The bosses will dive through the center of the platform, igniting the orbs as they pass over them. To avoid getting hit, players must find the gap in the orb line and then move to the edge to avoid the boss's dive and the orb explosions. Another round of upgraded lances and shields, and more tank busters and raid-wide blasts to heal through. For the next tandem assault Bloody Sweep,
I think
the
everyone
bosses
just
will
pretty much
swap
focuses
positions,
the lance
indicated by the
more.
red and blue arrows between them. Pay close attention to which sides their weapons are on and where they'll end up once they swap positions. Stand in the resultant safe spot to avoid getting hit. Eventually, the bosses will cast Wandering Trail, and a number of glowing discs will form around the outer edge that will slowly move around the platform. The bosses will then cast Tandem Assault Breakthrough, and a proximity-based damage marker will form on the platform in the center. The bosses will hold up their weapons again to one side, and players will have to move to the opposite side to avoid getting hit. Be careful not to get hit by the moving discs on your way to the edge. Another variety of Wandering Trail will have the discs forming on the edge and moving through the middle to the opposite side. While this is happening, the bosses will cast Hungry Lance, wide frontal attacks. Players will need to move into the available safe zones while dodging the Wandering Trail discs to avoid damage. These mechanics will repeat until one of the bosses is destroyed. The surviving boss will then begin to cast Lamentation, dealing high raid-wide damage until it is destroyed as well. The next section has us fighting multiple copies of 2P and flight units. There are a lot of AoE attacks here, so watch your step. Once all of the adds are down, you'll be able to continue on to the third boss, Red Girl. Cruelty will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. Shockwave will target players with either white or black circle markers while the boss generates barriers around the platform. Players affected by the circles will be able to destroy the barriers of the opposite color and can do so when the opportunity arises. Throughout the encounter, players will need to watch the edges of the platform for either white or black blasts, and then move behind the barrier of the same color to avoid the incoming attack. Be careful not to step into the orange zones or you will die. The boss will eventually cast Recreate Meteor, and a white or black meteor will begin to fall to the platform. Players must stand behind the barrier of the same color to avoid the attack or they will die. Manipulate Energy will target all 3 tanks for heavy hitting tank busters. Cooldown and heal as necessary. Replicate will spawn a number of adds around the platform that will all begin to cast Diffuse Energy. These adds will attack and rotate clockwise or counterclockwise, indicated by the arrows around them when they spawn. To avoid getting hit, players can stand close to an ad and rotate with it until it disappears. Eventually, the boss will cast Sublime Transcendence and pull all players into a hacking minigame. Players will be able to swap between black and white forms to deal damage to the opposite colored walls. The red sphere will need to be destroyed before you can return to the main fight. The sphere will throw out waves of black or white attacks, and players can change their program to the same color as the incoming wave to avoid taking damage while they attack the sphere. Players can also watch out for the black and white pylons that will explode for high damage and debuffs if not destroyed in time. Once the sphere is destroyed, players will be returned to the Red Girl. Child's Play will tether up players to the boss, and large arrows around the boss will indicate which direction these players will be forced to run in, left, right, or towards the boss. Affected players will need to position themselves to avoid being forced into the death zones. Unaffected players can simply dodge the AoE attacks as normal. At this point, the boss will generate more barriers, and players will need to hide behind the appropriate barriers based on the incoming attacks. 2 meteors will also drop down on the platform, and players must ensure that they're appropriately positioned behind the correctly colored walls to avoid death from each meteor. These mechanics will repeat with increased overlap until the boss is destroyed. In the next section, players will need to destroy 2 elevator mini-bosses. When the mini-boss casts Deploy Armaments, players will need to look at the position of its arms or ear flaps. If the arms are glowing yellow in front, players will need to move out from the center directly in front of the boss. If the boss's ear flaps are glowing orange, they'll need to move into the center to avoid the side attacks. Once both bosses are out on the elevator, players will have to look out for both attacks and move appropriately. Universal Assault will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. All players will also need to watch out for extra laser beams and orb attacks from the smaller adds. These mechanics will repeat until both bosses are down. Finally, we reach the end where we face off against the False Idol. Screaming Score will deal high raid-wide damage. Shield and heal as necessary. Made Magic will form a rotating circle in front of the boss that will deal damage directly in front of it before rolling in the direction it's rotating in, destroying anything in its path. Players will need to identify which direction the attack will roll in and move to the opposite side of the platform. Lighter Note will target 3 players with these large directional AoE markers. Form a rotating circle in front of the boss that will deal damage directly in front of it before rolling in the direction it's rotating in, destroying anything
so
in its
yeah,
path.
it's just the
Players will need to
direction it's
identify
rotating
which
in.
direction the
Yeah.
attack will roll in and move to the opposite side of the platform. Lighter Note will target 3 players with these large directional AoE markers. These players can move away to drop these on the ground away from the raid. All players will then have to be ready to dodge the incoming AoE attacks that will move in the direction of the original arrows. Rhythm Rings will shoot out directly in front of them when the orbs drop down into them. Players will need to dodge each active ring as necessary. Watch for extra AoE attacks underneath players during this time as well. Darker Note will target all 3 tanks for large circle attacks. They'll need to move away to avoid overlapping. Eventually, the boss
Just
will
overlap
transition
all
to
of
the
them.
next phase. Pervasion will
Sure,
turn
it'll
the
be
floor
fine.
transparent, and Recreate Structure will form form a structure underneath the platform. This structure will then blast through the floor in the orientation that it was created in, destroying anything it hits. To avoid this, all players can angle their cameras down to see which way the structure is formed, and move to a safe side of the platform before it hits them. This will occur anytime the platform is transparent, so be sure to watch your feet. Recreate Signal will spawn a number of train tracks across the platform. When the boss casts mixed signals, players will need to identify which tracks are green and active and which are red and inactive. Move on to the red tracks to avoid getting run over. When the boss casts heavy arms, players will need to identify which attack is incoming by the rocky appearance of the boss. If you see rocky wings, all players will need to move directly in front or behind of the boss to avoid getting hit. If the boss forms a giant monolith between her legs, move to her sides to avoid getting hit. Distortion will cause all players to be marked with a black and white marker. When the boss casts Final Song, black or white rings will drop down into the center of the platform. Players will need to position their characters so that the side of their ring marker matches that of the incoming attack from the center to avoid damage. Eventually, the boss will cast Pillar Impact and form two massive pillars on opposite corners of the platform. These pillars will knock back all players once they drop onto the platform, and they'll need to position themselves to avoid getting knocked off. Angle your character towards the opposite corner or use a knockback immunity. Tower Fall will cause each pillar to fall in a specific direction identified by their shadows. Move away to avoid getting crushed. Eventually, the boss will spawn another train and a number of Red Girl clones will appear, tossing out orbs that will move across the platform while you handle familiar mechanics with some overlap. All of these mechanics will repeat until the boss is down. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll head into the Cloud Deck Extreme. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.
Okay, so we're at 11 minutes and it's saying average wait time is 10 minutes. So let's see the next one. Next one. Next one. Next. Okay, so the Puppet's Bunker is going to be one of them too. Or, yeah. So let's take a look at this one as well. Next. Okay. Then that one, yeah, that's going to be the next. Okay. So it looks like it's those three that we need to be aware of.
Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the Puppet's Bunker. This is the newest 24-man Alliance raid made available by patch 5.3 in Final Fantasy XIV, Reflections in Crystal. While it's easy to be overwhelmed by the order of protocols of each boss, all you need is laser focus and missile precision to outmaneuver your enemies. My name is Miztech and I'll be your raid guide. Players will immediately face the first boss. One thing to note, it is very possible and very easy to fall off the platform, so watch your step. Order Anti-Personnel Laser will target each tank with a heavy-hitting tank
seem
buster.
that easy,
Cooldown
honestly.
shield and heal as necessary. Maneuver beam cannons will form large laser beam telegraphs that will begin to converge on specific locations. This can be tricky to recognize at first since the laser beams can overlap on their way to their attack spots. Players will need to move into the safe zones before the blasts go off or they will get knocked off the platform and die. Maneuver collider cannons will spawn a number of moving laser telegraphs that rotate around the platform. These attacks blast as soon as they stop moving, so make sure to pre-position out of these before they stop on top of you. Firing Order Surface Laser will mark up players from each alliance with this orange marker before blasting them with AoE attacks that follow them for some time. Affected players will need to move away from others and then keep moving to avoid getting hit. Aerial Support Swoop will summon adds around the platform that will dive bomb towards random players. Move out of these telegraphs as necessary. Maneuver Refraction Cannons will deal raid-wide damage and debuffs to anyone caught under the wing thrust thrusters. Players will need to reposition away from the wings as they form to avoid excess damage. Maneuver Diffusion Cannon will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. Aerial Support Bombardment will spawn 3 flight unit adds in each Alliance section that will begin to slow cast. These adds must be destroyed before the cast goes off, or they will explode for high raid-wide damage and anyone in its vicinity will die.
DPS check.
While you're burning down the add, the boss will continue its regular attacks. Order High-Powered Laser will mark up a player in each alliance with the stack up marker. Each group will need to stack up to share the incoming damage. Life's Last Song will pulse out rings that will deal high damage and debuff anyone caught in the explosion. To avoid this, players will need to run between the gaps of the telegraphs before they explode. This will happen a number of times in succession, so make sure you keep an eye out. All of these mechanics will repeat with increased overlap until the boss is down. In the next section, each group will have 1 clump of adds to deal with. The large light artillery unit adds can cast Maneuver Volt Array that can and should be interrupted. If it isn't, it'll deal high raid-wide damage and apply a paralysis debuff on all players. Players will need to watch for AoE telegraphs on the ground and avoid overlapping attacks. Make sure you're not standing in any poop and burn each add down. Eventually, we find ourselves on the flight deck, facing off against 3 superior flight units, Alpha, Beta, and Chi. As soon as the encounter begins, the flight units will each cast a specific shield protocol on each Alliance member that will limit them to attacking only 1 flight unit at a time. Maneuver Missile Command will cause a barrage of raid-wide AoE attacks. Healers be ready with those shields and heals. Maneuver Incendiary Bombing will target players with orange markers and eventually drop large AoE fire patches on the ground beneath them. Move these away from the group and don't stand in the poop. Maneuver High-Powered Laser will target 1 player from each alliance with a lineup marker. Stand together to soak the damage and make sure you're not in line with any of the other alliance members to avoid overlapping and killing one another. Formation Sharp Turn will have each flight unit move into a corner to form a triangle. Players will need to pay attention to which side thruster lights up, as this side of the boss will be targeted for a large column attack, and they'll need to move to the other side. The tricky part here is making sure you're not getting hit by the other units as well. So as soon as you position for your own unit, make sure you take a quick peek at the adjacent units and reposition away from those attacks as well. This usually works out with each alliance being in the corner behind their own ad. Maneuver Precision Guided Missile will target each tank for a heavy-hitting tank buster. Move away, cool down, and heal as necessary. Formation Air Raid will have AoE circles spawn on the edges of the platform that will move across the platform in a straight line. Players will need to move out of their way and dip behind to ensure their safety. At the same time, the flight units will cast point-blank AoEs that will minimize the room you have to dodge the air raid missiles, so watch out. Formation Sliding Swipe will spawn 2 massive AoE circles on the platform, and each flight unit will fly to the opposite edge. From there, they will light up their left or right thruster before rushing across the platform to destroy anyone on the thruster side. To handle this, all players will first move away from the large circle telegraphs towards where the flight units are lining up. As they do so, they'll need to stay close to the center of the platform and watch the flight units light up their thrusters. Once identified, players can move to the right or left side of the platform to avoid getting cleaved. You'll have to dodge all 3 flight units, so make sure you don't move too far from the center in case you need to dodge back the other way. These mechanics will repeat until each flight unit is destroyed.
That would be simple, but look at how many people got hit by that.
Spread out if you're affected by AoE circles and dodge
simple.
these blooming AoE attacks as necessary. They don't go too far across the platform, so you can even easily outrange them. Once your alliance's flight unit is destroyed, your shield debuff will fall off and you'll be able to help the other alliances destroy their units. The third encounter has us facing off against a heavy artillery unit. Maneuver Volt Array will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. Operation Activate Laser Turret will cause the turret in the center of the room to throw out laser attacks in a specific pattern. Players will need to dodge out of each section as necessary. Maneuver High-Powered Laser will target 2 tanks with these markers and then blast in their direction for high damage. To avoid overlap, make sure the tanks spread in front of the boss away from the rest of the raid. Maneuver Unconventional Voltage will target random players with these orange markers and cones. This attack will soon blast in the direction of the marked players, so make sure you avoid overlapping more than 1 attack. Energy Bombardment will throw out bombs towards players that can be avoided by moving out of each AoE circle. At the same time, 3 larger AoE circles will form and the boss will jump between all 3 before casting a room-wide donut attack. Players will need to move out of these circles while following the boss to get into melee range to avoid that final attack. attack. Operation Activate Suppressive Unit will cause a number of bomb orbs to spawn from the outer edge and move towards the center of the room. Players will need to dodge these to avoid excess damage and debuffs. Support Pod will cause a number of pods to spawn around the room that will each throw out a specific attack. Players will need to keep an eye on the screens behind each pod to predict the attacks. Pods numbered 30 will throw out large point-blank AoEs, and players will need to move in between them to avoid getting hit. Pods numbered 10 will throw out large column attacks directly in front of them, and players will need to reposition to avoid these based on their position. The screens behind each pod also give players a countdown so you can see how much time you have to reposition before the attacks go off. Eventually, circles will form around the room that require a specific number of players in them to deactivate, or they will explode. These circles change color once enough players enter them, so make sure each one is deactivated. These mechanics will repeat until the boss is destroyed. One thing to look out for during the pod programs is the potential trickiness involved with the physical position of each pod, especially when the 10s and 30s begin to overlap. You'll need to carefully identify which pod is going to deal which attack and find the safe zone before it's too late. Be super careful when the pod.
So the 10s, okay, yeah, the 10s do that, and the 30s do a boom. Okay.
Pods arrange themselves to the side of the screen that they're linked to, as it can get pretty confusing. In this final section, the raid will need to make their way down a long corridor while destroying adds and barriers and dodging lasers and balls. There are both static lasers and lasers that target specific players, so watch your step. The final boss is the Compound. Mechanical Laceration will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. Mechanical Decapitation will target the room with a massive donut attack. Players will need to move close to the boss within the spinning lasers to avoid damage. Mechanical Dissection will have 2 lasers form in front and behind the boss and begin to spin. Soon after, a long column attack will target in the direction of each laser. Players will need to move to the sides to avoid getting hit. Mechanical Contusion will cause a number of circles to form on the platform and target random players with circle markers. Move out of the circles and spread the marked players to avoid overlap. When the boss disappears, 2 open versions of it will form around the platform with lasers on either side. Safe lanes will form based on the position of each clone, and players will need to stand in them to avoid each attack. These mechanics will repeat until the swarm of the boss is destroyed and the next phase begins. After a short cutscene, the raid will face off against Compound 2P. Centrifugal Slice will deal high raid-wide damage. Healers beware. Relentless Spiral will cause a number of large AoE circles to form under players. Move out of these as necessary. Prime Blade will hit as either a point-blank AoE attack, a room-wide donut attack, or a
Like, oh my goodness. Did you see that one guy there? Like, let me see.
Healers beware. Relentless Spiral will cause a number of large AoE circles to form under players. Move out of these as necessary.
Yeah, look at this guy here. He's just standing in the circle. Look at how low his health is. Let me go back a couple of seconds here.
Move out of these as
Well,
Spiral will cause a number of large AoE circles to form under players. Move
start, yeah.
out of these as necessary. Prime Blade will hit as either a point-blank AoE attack, a room-wide
Like, you gotta know that your health is getting low when you're just standing in those.
donut attack or a frontal column attack, depending on the position of her sword during the cast. If she has her sword stuck in the ground in front of her, all players must move into melee range to avoid the donut attack. If she has her sword up behind her, all players must move away from her to avoid the point-blank AoE. If she has her sword held high above her head, all players must move out from in front of her. Next up, circles will form around the platform that will be linked
When she had her sword, the AoE strike.
up behind her. All players must move away from her to avoid the point-blank AoE.
Okay.
If she has her sword held high above her head, all players must move out from in front of her. Next up, circles will form around the platform that will be linked to the boss. She will then begin to cast a random Prime Blade. These linked circles are indicators of where the boss can teleport to, but there's a trick. Links with sparks pulsing through them are the true indicators of where the boss will teleport, while the others will simply explode once the boss teleports. Immediately after the teleport, Prime Blade will go off and players will need to have already pre-positioned in the safe zone to avoid the attack. When the boss casts 3 parts Disdain, a player will be marked with this stack up marker. The boss will then leap onto this player 3 times. The raid will need to stack with them for each hit to share the damage. Periodically, the boss will summon pods and a number of AoE circles will target random players. Spread these out as usual to avoid overlap. 4 parts resolve will tether 4 random players and mark them up from 1 to 4. The boss will then leap onto each odd-numbered player before turning towards the next even-numbered player and slash in their direction. To handle this, these 4 players can sped around the room while the rest of the group avoids them. When the boss moves into the middle and casts Reproduce, 4 clones will appear around the room. The boss will then cast Prime Blade, and players will need to adjust into the safe spot accordingly. Moments after, each clone will cast the exact same type of Prime Blade attack, and players will need to adjust again in relation to the clones. Energy compression will cause a number of meteor circles to spawn around the platform. Each circle requires 1 player to soak or the meteor will explode. These meteor rounds may also be affected by the force transport mechanic, and players will have to identify which meteor circles are going to teleport by looking for the link with the sparks pulsing through it. They'll need to pre-position into the teleport spot to properly soak the incoming meteor. She can summon pods that will explode from the edges in lines across the platform, forming specific safe zones. These pods can also be transported to different areas, so make sure you identify the safe zone after the teleportations happen. These mechanics will repeat until the boss is down. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll dive into the Seat of Sacrifice Extreme. As always,
Alright, I think that's all of it. Jeez, we're 24 minutes in, it's saying 22 minutes average now. This is on a populated server too. And if those are to be believed, geez, man. Let's see. Yeah. I don't believe that they're... I don't believe that we're going to be able to do any of those, what do you call them, custom delivery quests right now. I can sell that thing though. Is there an option to like auto sort, I thought, or something? Maybe not. Mugutan. Do we have any more? Yeah, we do. Okay, I think that's all of the materia. Pretty much. Well, let's put these ones next, yeah. Okay. Okay. I can't access my thing right now, can I? I'm just hoping it goes through sometime soon-ish. What is it, a bad gun or something?
Why would anybody realistically buy a Desert Eagle? I'm up here at Allied Arms today and I saw this one in the used gun case, and it is just so wildly different than anything else out there, and they were designed to compete with Magnum revolvers. Now, the newer ones have integrated rails, they have integrated muzzle brakes, rails on the bottom. These things weigh like 4.5 pounds. I mean, that's the weight of some PCCs and lightweight rifles. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It actually uses an AR-15
Weight is kind of a
style
good thing,
bolt.
though.
It is a piston-driven gun, dual recoil spring.
Like, the more weight something has, the less recoil you feel. A lot of that recoil is taken out by the weight of the gun.
8-round magazines. You can get them in 44 Magnum, 357 Magnum, or 50 AE. Ambidextrous safety. Actually has a pretty decent reach to the trigger, even though it's a really big gun. But why would you realistically buy this? Well, it's the cool factor. They've been used in a variety of different movies and video games, and for that reason alone, it's probably worth buying one of the Magnum Research Desert Eagles. Why?
Like, weight is not a bad thing where guns are concerned. The more weight a gun has, the less recoil you're gonna feel. It's gonna be nicer to fire something like that than something extremely light with the same rounds.
In my 40 years on Earth, I've seen almost everything go digital. I remember watching Terminator 2 on VHS. As it's been shortened, just means having agreement or relation with something else. Like an analogy in storytelling. Take, for example, old film cameras. These were analog because they were an analog representation of the real world. In fact, early cameras were nothing more than a box with a circular cutout.
Yeah, we should get an audible notification when it's ready.
Allowing light in and leaving an etched image that was analogous to the real world. Maybe a bit blurry and fuzzy, black and white, or upside down, but analogous nonetheless. The most famous analog devices that we romanticize about today are vinyl record players. This analog device stores sound analogously in grooves on a vinyl record. Many love the rich character of records for this reason, because any attempt to digitize sound comes with a trade-off. Imagine this sound wave, which can pretty much be represented as grooves on vinyl as it is, but a digital recording has to convert this into one.
And the thing is like the digital conversion of it is so good that you just can't tell the difference. So, yeah. Kind of ends up being a poor analogy because the digital copy is such a good store of the original that you literally can't tell the difference. Like, people have tried and they can't tell the difference. People can't even tell the difference between a lossless file and an MP3 file at 320 kilobits per second. Okay, yeah, let's skip. What team are we in? Are we in this one? one? I guess so, yeah. Our names are all in white. Troopy. Nope. What is that awful noise? They? Okay. Okay, do we go first? Who goes first? These things, yeah, these are the things that spawn out the orbs. It's been a while since I've played this. Everything is so bright and flashy, it's hard to tell what is going on. Am I not targeted there? Come on. Am I? I'm not marked. Also just not taking any damage from anything. Shoot out. I think they shoot out bombs in their path, don't they, or something? Yeah. How are we supposed to? What? I just keep getting hit by them. What? I don't understand. Got lasers on people. Is one of them on me? No, none of them are on me. This stupid thing again? I'll just try to follow someone. I'm gonna knock this out. Someone went down to that. Do I even have? I don't even have anything on to that. What, do we interact with something, or what are we doing here? Okay. Loot. Not sure what level this stuff is. It's probably not good for me, but... Wait. Hopefully we all separated correctly. I'm not sure if we were able to control that or if it controlled it for us. Oh wait, that's in the same exact spot. What? I thought it was supposed to rotate. And it just randomly hits in the same exact spot as it did the first time again. What the heck? Looks like these things are gonna shoot off in this direction-ish, aren't they? I think so, yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's a great place to stand there. Just stand away from the boiling spots, I think, yeah. Rotate, or is it just going to do the same thing as last time and not really actually rotate? Doesn't even deal that much damage, honestly. So targeted me. Okay. this one at least has, it's like not shiny like all over the floor. It's not like shiny all over the floor, so you can actually see what it's doing. That's interesting. There's like dust in the air. Mineral dust. Oh yeah, this thing. Sides, yeah. Oh, that's the center, yeah. that's right. Not sure if it's quite yet though. Is it? I don't think we want to jump off. One guy decided to jump off. Yeah, this is where we get hit by this thing. Yeah. I don't think you want to jump off. That's like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to jump off.
Ward 21, you've been well behaved this year, and Santa asked me to give you a promo code for 10 viewers gold 3LZQV3 then 4V4LH0-6. Copy and activate it here. Get by EWESPRO.
Oh, I don't want the promo. I think I want to get away from other people, right? I think so. Yeah. Okay, so it's just gonna target me no matter what. Wow. Goes down the center, right? I think so. Yeah. A lot of people went down from that. Yeah, this is side attack. Yeah. Target these things, right? Attack it again? No.
One thing RPGs have taught me is that geometric shapes are bad.
Geometric shapes are bad. You don't like the hexagons? Oh, interesting.
The circles are evil.
Yes, yes, the circles are evil. Unless they're those red ones, everyone's supposed to stack on the red ones. So, those little, really dark red circles there, you're supposed to stack. All the other circles you're supposed to avoid. Have you played Final Fantasy, Riku?
That's why the red skittles are the only ones that are bad for you.
The red skittles are the only ones that are bad to you. Well, well. Now I destroy you once and for all.
I have never played this.
Ah, this is near Fantasy 14. Yeah, I think we should be ready, right? I think so. See if we can drag him a ways here. I even have my...
Play Guild Wars 2.
Oh yeah, Guild Wars 2 is really fun. This is a bit more challenging though. At least mechanically. Once you get past the fact that it's not like action combat, it's really fun. Guild Wars 2 is like a very different feel to it altogether. I played a lot of Guild Wars 2.
I don't like people, so Guild Wars was more than me simply to stay able for the most part.
Yeah, I think these just go forward, right? Oh no, they go circles down. Okay. Oh, it didn't matter. Thinking enough that it didn't matter. Those things, pinging claws in the air, put down AoE circles. Don't let me know that you're
My eye on him.
multiple heat signatures. Okay, are we all supposed to get here? I don't know that we are. It showed a red line there. Womp, womp, womp. Okay. Get over here, I'm guessing. And they seem pretty easy to dodge. That was really easy.
Imagine being that guy, taken out in the middle of the boss fight.
That guy taking a nap in the middle of a boss. I know. No one told him he could take a nap. Why did he think that was acceptable? I think, yeah, we gotta target these things now. Did we? Yeah, we got that one. What's happening with the other tank? There we go. Yeah, let's face it this way if we can. Oh, we have a proximity thing. Yeah, run! I need to get behind the tank. Oh, nope, didn't make it in time. I gotta wait. I should accept it after that thing goes off. There we go. That way I don't just revive into an explosion and die again. Oh.
Genji Meteor.
Go into the shield thing, I'm guessing. Sure, we have to destroy these. I'll blow you to pieces. My health bars hardly moves. Everyone else's health bar moved quite a bit. Bombery thing again? I think so. And you don't want to go over there instantly. Oh, okay. I thought it went off as soon as the red circle thing expired, but no. I'm gonna end up getting into that. copied factory complete. Only took forever to queue for that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, our healer did pretty good. Sure. Oh. There we go. Is it that once everyone leaves, the roll is over for them, I'm guessing? I don't think anything that I got there is going to be better for me, most likely. Kind of doubt it. I'm going to get some...
Stop drinking the barbecue sauce.
Haven't you ever seen salsa before? Yeah, that's the Oh, they've seen your eyes. This is not acceptable. How inappropriate. Goodness, eyes.
Nope, I learned enough from Star Wars that anyone who falls like that always lives.
Yeah, even when cut in half. Darth Maul. She just collapsed 1 minute she was walking ahead of us, the next well, as you can see. Though after all that, perhaps the greater shock is that you're still standing. I'm impressed and a little bit scared. Truly, you're wasted on petty errands that everyone puts you up to. Oh, here she is.
I'm sure she runs on triple batteries.
Yeah, probably. Oh, you feeling better? More importantly, who was that boy in black? Who is controlling the machines? So he's an android. You're a machine? That's impossible. It's hard enough to make a fully functioning Iron Beard or a wind-up automaton that bears passing resemblance of a real person. To create machines that look and act like you two, who could possibly have done such a thing and how? But fine, let's say for the moment that I believe you. Why would one of those androids want to attack us? I don't know, but he's the only one out there.
I didn't know the evil things from Kingdom Hearts could grow white beards.
I know, right? Bearded Kingdom Hearts dwarves. And if the other androids come looking for these ruins, I can't promise they won't come just as aggressive. Anyone who gets in their way could be in terrible danger. This whole place could be in danger. If anything like, if they're anything like what we just saw, I don't like our chances. Don't be silly. We have clever minds. We have loads of explosives. We have exceptionally violent assistant, and we even have an android of our own. She won't be functional much longer, huh? I can only tell you what you need to do. Deep within the ruins lie the key. Find it. Within it, we can stop him, the machines, the androids. With it, you can restore. Restore her to functionality, maybe? What in the hells was that about? Oh.
Now only Son Goku can stop the androids. I have already seen this episode.
Yes, we have to go even further beyond. Very promising discovery is what. So we must persevere, onward, forward, inward, away. I knew that there was something of value there. Muhaha.
Onward, forward, inward. That's what I used to tell my ex. Maybe that's why I am single.
Oh, nothing? Did you hear something? No, we didn't hear anything. The real question is, do we need more explosives this time? Maybe we can just fit some in your pack as well. You're coming along, right? Who am I kidding? I know you wouldn't miss it. I think I'm fine. I'm sure I won't be given the choice. Yes, we both know you're loving this. And I have a present for you. Feast your eyes on this. Please don't strip. It's a one-of-a-kind recording device. The portable archive. If you spot anything odd, anything at all, march right up to it and collect its data. Then we'll have a nice little set of records to review. I'm ready to go back when I am. Ready? Trick question. Don't care. Let's go. Just think, machines equal to man. No, perhaps even greater. If we can find the key, we can figure out just how they work. We can fix 2P, and then... I'm as intrigued as you are, but I would not have us put blind faith in someone we only just met, particularly someone making such a wild claim.
And then we can become the greatest Pokemon master.
Yes. We were to bring this key to her. There's no telling what she might do with it. If you want to be a coward, be my guest. I'll be boldly following a path forwards as is. If you recall, we plan to do, and if we can secure 2P's continued assistance, all the better. What about you? Can you either dive into a great unknown with me, or stick in one toe at a time like a beardless baby? Do we talk to a Nog? Okay. Tails you lose. Oh. So let's see. Do these go to the same thing? Because the next one is carnivals and the other thing. Carnivals and one way to do it. They seem to go to the same thing, right? Yeah, the quest path seems to be the same. So I think we'll just go with the Nog then. We shouldn't go wrong either way.
What kind of cheating is this? Where is your tips and tricks magazine?
Oh, it's a secret. Top secret. It's, oops. It's just this, thing. Academic dispute. Yeah. It's just a wiki.
I just dated myself.
Yeah, magazines. Zoomers would be like, what's a magazine? These pod devices must be part of this place, but they don't seem to be particularly murderous as far as things in here go. We should be able to use them to ferry us further in.
Back in my day we had to pray our game was relevant enough to appear in a gaming magazine for a guide.
Yeah. How old are you? Must be even older than me. Jeez.
Jesus's age.
Of course, I don't look as old as I am, but... If we get lost, it should be a simple matter to teleport back to the entrance using one of these, so don't worry your pretty head about becoming trapped down here. And with that said...
Why is there a condom dispenser?
I mean, yeah, sometimes you just need, protection on the go, you know? Especially with hot androids running around. Are we supposed to activate this one, I'm wondering? No. Maybe we do. Or is that... Yeah, that just takes us back to the entrance, I think. Can we not use this one to go back? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have to do all this again. Like the red circle shows that zone, so I'm like, okay, do we interact with this? Nope. The best way to ride on it is just hold on with one hand. Definitely more secure than using two hands.
My lower back would have given up if I jumped like that in that armor.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty heavy armor. Yeah. I don't know, how much would a suit of armor like that weigh? Let me see. Full suit of armor. That's not actually all that bad, I would say, honestly. Between 45 and 55 pounds. Yeah. That's honestly not all that much. Plates.
Now jump LOL.
I mean, that's 45 pounds. That's 55. Not bad at all. Like, yeah. That's 55. Yeah. Like, no. That wouldn't be all that bad.
And it's all throughout your body, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's like broadswords, too. People think broadswords are super heavy. Like, no, that's about the size of a broadsword. Like, this is about the size of a broadsword. It is not heavy. Like, it's stainless steel, so...
Plus those guys had balls of steel, so it's more like 60 pounds kappa.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're training in armor and stuff. When that's what you're training for, it's going to be super easy.
Training to not die. Kinda motivating if I say so myself.
Yep. So, is there something I'm supposed to find in that circle, or is it just... there might be.
You were looking for Waldo.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of broken androids. Jeez. How could they do this to our beautiful androids? I mean, you can see why we need protection. I'd better get whatever this is. It's part of a
That
greater
room's like a
whole.
lot of fun to me if I had 5 minutes alone.
I think it would be a lot of fun even if you weren't just alone.
Fine, you can come.
Get a nice little crowd to watch.
Catch it on the portable archive to watch later.
Is there something else? There's got to be something else that we need to... Oh, there's something over there. No, well, let us interact with it. You have some spare parts? Of course. Oh, look at all these. They're hard to say whether we have everything until we take a creak at reassembling it. Oh, crack at reassembling it, of course. But it's a start.
It's why they just didn't pick up a broken android to fix the one they have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, kill it with fire. Claptrap is back.
Is it alerting the enemy? Well, that doesn't look great. Oh, yeah, of course. Yes, shush.
Yes, walk up to the guy who wanted to kill you all.
Yeah. Kong and I will be heading out. I want to perform a proper analysis on these parts as soon as possible. I don't blame you if you want to look around a bit more first, though you had best share your findings. I think we got everything. It's about time. You know those parts we found. Well, I've managed to cobble them together into a decent approximation of something. I was hoping that if I got the basics right, the pod could tell us what it's meant to be, but it won't stop repeating the process and beeping at me. This is a really cool song. It worked when it was analyzing us, so theoretically it should be up to the task, but it seems we have to wait for it to finish whatever it's doing. I'm half tempted to take my tools to it, but I can't put it back together. We'll be back to square one, so patience is, So much, in fact, that I'm certain we need a considerable amount of time. Uninterrupted time to work, if you take my meaning. Oh boy, what are we doing here? Work. Yeah, I'm sure that's what you're up to. I'm telling you to keep the chiefs off our backs for a while. I don't care how. Say that this house is on fire if you like, or put it to the torch if you're not comfortable with lying. Wait. I think I just exit out here, don't I? I think so. Yeah, they need time to work alone. Uh-huh. Likely. They're probably doing some questionable activities with their body, but you know. Sorry, it's been a lot to take in. Did you manage to keep our local miscreants out of trouble? Not quite. It's true that when it comes to mechanical contraptions, you'll find one cleverer than those two. Two more obsessive? Okay. If anyone's capable of solving the mystery of those ruins, it's them. Much as I hate to say this, we should leave them to their own devices for now. Well, I should go, actually. I have to get ready for work here. So we are going to have to raid somebody. Okay. If we can swap to the browser. Okay. Oh, Chica is playing Jackbox? Okay, let's exit out of Final Fantasy here if it will let me swap windows. Oh, no, okay. Genshin Impact. Lethal Company. Yeah, let's raid Chica. Alright, so docs. There we go. Alright, time to raid. Yeah, she's having a good time.